On the quiet streets of Ohio, 6-year-old Ken'Adi Nash was simply taking the trash out to the curb when suddenly, a man appeared out of nowhere and grabbed her. The little girl struggled and fought with all her might to break free, but the man held onto her tightly and pulled her with him. Then, in a moment of pure terror, all she could do was scream for help. Finally, the man released her, and she managed to escape. The sight of that brave girl fighting for her life will leave you speechless and horrified. We can only hope she can recover from this traumatic experience, and that justice is served for this despicable act. A man stops by someone's house gate and decides to go into the backyard, even though he's already been caught on camera. In this true scary story, you see him removing a window screen and breaking the window with his bare hands, and then entering the house. After a while, he comes out of the house and starts to leave, but then he stops for some reason. Turns out he's not finished, so he decides to go into the house again. And he exits the same way he came in, this time for good. When the older woman who lived there returned home, she found that $300 was missing, but she also saw blood everywhere. The blood belonged to the intruder, who probably cut himself when he broke the window. A mother was home with her 2-year-old son when she heard a banging sound from the front door. As she approached it, she heard cries for help. But she didn't recognize the man, so she decided not to answer. So when he began banging on the door, she called the police. Eventually, he broke the glass with firewood and crawled through the window and into the house. Luckily, the cops arrived before the intruder could find the mother and her son. A Saudi Arabian man was casually walking down the sidewalk on a sunny day. He stopped for a brief moment to check if there was something on his shoe, then continued his stroll when something shocking happened. A huge pane of glass fell from the top of the building. The glass grazed the man's left shoulder, removing his turban and knocking him to the ground. Glass shattered all around him, but fortunately, the man was only left dazed and bruised. Disoriented, the man gets back on his feet, gathers his belongings, and returns in the direction from which he came. Maybe if he hadn't paused to check his shoe, the man would have been out of the way of the falling glass altogether. Regardless, this is one lucky guy. A woman approaching a bus stop became lightheaded and started to feel dizzy. She struggled to keep her balance, but lost her footing on the curb. As her ankle twisted, she fell headfirst into the road just as a bus passed. She hit the road hard, and her body twists as she lifts her head, narrowly avoiding the bus wheels speeding by. Take another look. Her head goes right under the bus wheels. The woman got up as if nothing had happened. Amazingly, this woman escaped this frightening moment with her life. "20-year-old boxer Zach McCabe was on his way to the gym when something unexpected happened. He was calmly walking by a pizza shop when an out-of-control car crashed into a parked car right in front. The parked car is violently hurled toward the pizza shop, trapping McCabe. His quick reflexes get him out of the way fast. The punch-drunk boxer then enters the pizza shop, suffering only minor bruising and a bump on the head. Later, McCabe commented on the event. "I looked straight up, and there was a car in the air. How I'm here today, I don't know. I should have died." Watch in shock as a woman crashes through the ceiling, her body slamming into a metal food prep counter before crashing to the floor. This shocking security camera footage captures 2 brazen burglars, a man and a woman, as they plunder a restaurant. Despite the sickening impact of the fall, the woman rises slowly to her feet, determined to complete her nefarious task. These criminals stop at nothing to get what they want, taking several $100s and a couple of bottles of wine before escaping. But the real question remains, what will become of the woman after her brutal fall? Will she use the stolen money to pay her medical bills? Or will the police catch up to her first? The footage showed an unknown guy crawling around the place, looking for something. We see the man steal the phone before he moves on searching for other stuff. What's most terrifying is, the man has a knife in his mouth the entire time. This can only mean one thing. The intruder came prepared for a confrontation. Luckily, the homeowner was a sound sleeper and didn't wake up. Otherwise, he could have lost something much more valuable than his phone. A woman was sound asleep in her bedroom when something unexplainable happened. As she slept, the door to the room opened by itself. It gets stranger when the blanket covering her is pulled down. This awakens the woman, and her reaction shows her terror as she frantically looks around to see who's with her. Eventually, she can find the light switch and turn on the light, which frightens her even more as she discovers no one is there. Understanding that she's dealing with something more sinister than a human intruder, she jumps out of bed and runs for help. Watch as a clown emerges from under the bed, his grotesque mask and sinister aura sending shivers down your spine. The unsuspecting girl sleeping on the bed stirs, but remains oblivious to the clown's presence. If she had seen him, her heart would have indeed stopped in fear. With a chilling calmness, the clown climbs out and leaves a stuffed toy by the girl's side before disconnecting the CCTV camera. When was the last time you checked underneath your bed? A mother checking on her sleeping baby was violently pulled by some unseen force. It suddenly grabbed her and dragged her out of the room and down the stairs. The woman screamed and fought with all her might, but the relentless grip of the paranormal entity was too firm. In a horrifying moment, the mother was powerless against the sinister force that had taken control of her body. This is no ordinary video. It's a spine-tingling account of a terrifying paranormal encounter that will leave you feeling shaken to your core.